Hey guys, what's up? This is Mel, and today's date is May 18th, 2016, and I'm here to talk about two episodes of The 100. That is episode 314, titled Red Sky at Morning, which premiered Thursday, May 5th, 2016, as well as episode 315, titled Perverse Instantiation, Part 1, which premiered Thursday, May 12th, 2016. Guys, so sorry for the delay, but if you can't tell by my voice, I got sick again. I really don't know how I could possibly get sick. It seems like just a few weeks ago I just got better from the last time. But so now more than ever, I'm definitely going to try to go with the clock. So let's begin 20-minute clock this time. And let's begin. So something new that we learned in these two episodes. Basically, for 314, it was interconnected storylines all throughout the episode, and that is through Allie. So the first one has to deal with Luna's sea rig. Mission for that part of the episode, was to get Luna to become the next commander. And this featured Clark, Bellamy, Octavia, Jasper, and of course Luna. However, the obstacle for them was the fact that Allie managed to find her way into the rig and getting chipped people there, try to force Luna to take her key before she could take the flame and so forth and such, bringing anarchy and death to a rig that was filled with peace. So in regards to that mission status, they failed. Clark, Bellamy, Octavia, and Jasper actually sent back to the shore with the flame. They were drugged under false pretenses, thinking that Luna was going to do the ascension, only to find out after they drank their wine, wine that they were drugged, and she was taking them off the rig. So, also in this part of the episode, Clark realizes that Allie wants to chip a Nightblood that give them the flame so that she can have access to version 2 of her code, which is the flame, and to therefore get her hands on Becca, who is supposedly inside the flame since she is the first commander. So there's that discovery. Then there's also what was happening on the dropship. Now the mission here was to map out Allie's code as they wait for Clark. Now this featured Raven, Monty, and Harper. Obstacle for them was, though, that Allie realized that Raven was in when she went ahead with the plan. And because of this, their mission failed because Allie removed herself from the Arcadian mainframe before Raven could hit the kill switch. And because Allie pulled from the mainframe, her only source is now powered through Jaha's backpack. And this portion of the episode had us discovering that Allie has a kill switch inside the City of Light Citadel, which is highly protected against firewalls and such that Raven came across. So moving on to Polis, mission here was to destroy Allie through Jaha's backpack. This featured Murphy, Pike, Indra, Imori, and Jaha, and of course Allie. Obstacle, however, was that Imori and Jaha, both chipped, were trying to get to Murphy, Pike, and Indra, who were on the mission to destroy the backpack. Their mission failed, though, because they were too late in destroying the device. Yes, they destroyed it, but not before all the data was uploaded into the Polaris 13 pod that was in Titus's old chamber. Now, the discovery in this section of the episode was the fact that Allie downloaded her City of Light server into the Station 13 pod, which Becca crashed onto Earth with. Also, in this episode, we saw the City of Lights. It looks more like a virtual reality setup. Excuse me, my goodness. So there's that. Now, hang on. So moving on to the next episode, episode 315. In Arcadia, there is the mission of creating a device that helps gain access into Allie through the mainframe in hopes that there's some residual code they can pick off and then piggyback off of that to get in Allie. This is featuring Raven, Monty, Jasper, and Harper. Obstacle, turns out that Jasper got chipped when he was on the rig, so he is now standing in the way of Monty and Raven putting this device into play. Their status, unknown, because while the device is still built, Jasper is now holding Harper as his hostage. So moving forward to the main storyline of this episode was Polis. And the mission was to get to Antari and force her to take the flame after they've removed the key from her system. This features, for the good guys, Clark, Bellamy, Octavia, Rowan, who's back, Miller, Brian, Pike, Murphy, and Indra. Big reunion here. Bad guys feature Jaha, Ali, Antari, Abby, and Kate. Now, the big obstacle in this episode was the fact that Ali was expecting Clark and the others to come for Antari because of the fact that Jasper was chipped. Therefore, Raven and Monty couldn't warn them through the radio because Jasper had disconnected all communication. So basically, Clark and the others were walking into a trap. Because of this, Rowan got shot by Kane, unsure if it was a kill shot or if it just wounded him in the chest and he was taken to lockup. We also see Abby torturing Clark for the passcode. She even went as far as to hang herself to force Clark to give her the passcode, which she doesn't. Next would have been Bellamy up on the torture rack, but that is interrupted thanks to Murphy, Pike, and Indra stepping in and rescuing Bellamy, Octavia, Brian, and Miller. So now they're trying to get their way back up to the top of the tower to get to Clark. But before they do that, Jaha bashes onto Hari's head in to prevent Clark from getting access to her. So while Bellamy and Murphy rush in to save Abby from dying from her own stupidity by hanging herself and to stop Jaha from truly killing Antari, status for their little mission wasn't a good one because Antari is, while alive, she is now brain dead, and it seems that they are now trapped in the Polis Tower, being surrounded by oncoming Ali army members, from the looks of it. So there's that. So what was the most shocking moment of the episode? Well, for 314 has to be 1, Luna still refuses to take the flame. 2, Raven wasn't quick enough to shut Ali down, which was a little disappointing. And 3, Ali is now on the arc through Station 13 Polaris. A little weird seeing her up there, but I wonder why she's up there to begin with. In regards to 315, most shocking moment has to be the fact that Jasper is chipped and he stabbed Monty, although with him being chipped it makes sense why he would stab Monty, but we didn't know that when he first stabbed him, so there's that. Also, the fact that a chipped out Abby tries to hang herself to get Clark to crack about the passcode. I mean, seriously, these keys or chips or thingies, they are truly making people delusional and doing unthinkable things, like really unthinkable things. It's crazy. So moving on very quickly to top 3 favorite moments. I'm just going to whiz by this, as you could probably tell. Okay, so 314. First one has to be Luna. She was a badass character, a bamf, if you will. We got to see her not only teaching kids, showing her softer side, but then she beat the hell out of Clark when she tried to sneak an attack on her to get that flame into her, but Luna just tossed her aside like a sack of potatoes or something. It was truly fantastic. We also learned that Luna is a badass in her own right because of the fact in the Conclave she actually killed her own brother when she was pitted against him. She was then pitted against Lexa before she ran. So there's that. So it's just craziness right there. It's just, I really hope we see Luna again. She was truly, I would not mind her being the next commander at all. Not at all. Especially when you see her take down all those chipped out grounders that were trying to force her hand, and she was fantastic, for sure, fantastic. Okay, next favorite moment has to be Monty, not only with his emotional scenes with Raven, and especially with his mom through the Ali's code, but also he and Harper got a little physical together, which I wasn't expecting, yet I was hoping. They kind of hinted it at the end of last season, but since we never saw any reference to it at the beginning of season 3, I thought it was going to be swept under the rug. I didn't think that they were going to go back to it, but the fact that they did in this episode was pretty surprising, although I am team, what is their ship name? Haunty, Morper, I don't know, but loving Monty and Harper for sure. Okay, another favorite moment for 314 was Imori's comment inside the City of Lights about her not having anything wrong with her. This is the quote. Jaha tells her, "You know you can correct your defects here." Imori looks down at her mutated hand and she says, "You know I would if I had any." Truly love that comeback because it shows that despite the fact that the City of Light is meant to be a world of perfection and all that nonsense. The fact that Amori keeps her mutation, the one thing that isolated her from all of her people, and the fact she doesn't see it as a defect was just truly fantastic. Fantastic, for sure. And I loved it. A quick shout out at the very end, the shore scene with Bellamy, Clark, Octavia, and Jasper. Just them looking out, and then Bellamy just asking Clark, now what? It's just like, yeah, now what? What are they going to do? I don't know. I just like the way it was executed, for sure. But moving on to 315, though. Favorite episodes, or favorite moments, I should say. First one was the fact that Abby called Clark out on her weakness being Bellamy. I love it, yet I feared it a lot. It definitely implied the fact that she knows that Clark will break if something happened to Bellamy. I just love that it was implied. I love the fact that it was implied, like I said, but then I also feared seeing that happen and just seeing what she would have to witness him go through and just see that resolve break. It was very... I was very iffy and worried to see that, although I did go to fan fiction, and some people have written that way about the scene, so there's that. Second favorite moment, King Rowan had returned, and I love it, and if he's dead, I'm going to be pissed, because I've been waiting a long time for him to return, and we got it, and then he was just done. So, even his scene with Bellamy and Clark in the cell, I really like that too. Just everything that Rowan did in this episode, I enjoyed it, for sure. Last favorite moment was the resolution between Monty and Jasper when they're finding the device for Raven. And this is before we find out that Jasper is chipped and before he reveals his chipped status by stabbing Monty. I really liked such a resolution came up, and it had given me hope that they could move forward from all the tension between them. And then to find out he was chipped was just disappointing, but I'll get right into that afterwards. So moving on now to top 3 peeved moments. So for episode 314, Luna's refusal was disappointing in itself. I really want her to be the next commander. She's the only obvious choice now. Second peeved part was that Raven was too slow to delete Ali for good. I mean, Raven already went ahead and went against the plan, and she already put their plan at risk by alerting Ali too soon. I would probably only forgive that if she was able to actually complete the mission, which she didn't do, so that kind of pissed me off. But then it makes sense why it wouldn't be completed, because then you got 2 episodes of what? For 315, I didn't like the fact that Jasper was chipped, even though I understand why he chose to be chipped. But it's just, is he really gonna... I just still can't believe that he'd willingly go and take the route that would get his pain to leave him, as opposed to betraying. It seemed like he chose a selfish route by chipping himself so he doesn't feel the pain inside of him over his friends, and him being chipped would betray them. So that just really annoyed me. And then everything Jasper did while chipped annoyed me. Also, Abby torturing Clark. There seriously is no way that things can go back to the way they were before all this chip business happened between the two of them. I mean, they already had a really strained relationship as it is to begin with, and now this is not going to do it. I don't care if Clark is not going to blame Abby because of the fact that she was chipped. I still don't see how Clark could continue looking at her mom and not see that same face who basically tortured her and brought her so much pain. It's just, I don't see how they're going to get past this, for sure. But there is that. It makes you kind of wonder, if Jake was still alive, would he be chipped, or if he would do what Abby did to Clark, and if he was in that situation. It just makes you wonder. So moving on, what moment will I remember most when I look back on these 2 episodes? 314, I'll remember Luna's rig, and then it being found by Ali. And 315, I'll remember the gruesome torture that Clark had to endure as well. But moving on to random questions. I actually have 2 from my friend Jen. Hang on. 2 questions from my friend Jen. And so the first one was pertaining to 314, and it was she was wondering, couldn't Clark just infect the black blood in herself like the original scientist Becca did? Like, is if Luna didn't want to take the flame, couldn't she have just given her blood to Clark so that she can use it for herself? Now, for that, I'm going to say no. I could be wrong, but this is my interpretation of how the whole night blood working with the flame thing was. Becca had gene therapy like 92 years ago, right? So that allowed her to survive on some level. I'm not sure exactly what the gene therapy did, but that gene therapy is what caused her blood to turn black. And then essentially, as the years went on, apparently the black blood in Becca apparently came hereditary. So I'm assuming that anyone who has the black blood, or night blood as you were, are descended somehow from Becca. So essentially, I don't think just taking the black blood and then injecting it in yourself would make you a viable vessel for the flame. I think it only worked for Becca because of the fact it was actual gene therapy, as opposed to now when it's 92 years later, that black blood from the gene therapy has transformed to be the actual blood inside of the vessel. So I don't think a transfusion like that would work, but that's just my interpretation of it. What do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comments below. Let my friend Jen know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your answer about that. Her second question now is actually an observation she had, though. But when Luna told Clark, after attacking her, that she had killed her own brother in the first round in the Conclave, and that luckily for Clark, she was paired with Lexa for the second round, my friend Jen was wondering what I thought that meant, and if I interpreted it as her loving Lexa too, and that's why she had fled instead of killing Lexa. The way I interpret it was that Luna mentioned the fact that she killed her brother to prove the fact of how ruthless and how truly skilled she was, and then the fact that basically bringing up the fact that she was then paired with Lexa and then she fled the Conclave. I thought she mentioned that just to basically tell Clark that, oh, if I had stayed in the Conclave, you never would have met Lexa because I would have killed her and I would have been the new commander you met, type thing. So it's kind of like, you better thank me for fleeing, because if I didn't, your beloved would have been killed long before you met her, type thing. Though then it makes me kind of wonder, why would she flee when paired up with Lexa if she didn't flee when she was paired up with her own brother? So I don't know in regards to whether Luna felt love for Lexa or not. She'd have to feel a lot more than her own brother, which I don't see happening, but that's just my interpretation, or at least my first impression of it. Again, what you guys think or what you interpreted about that whole exchange, let me know in the comments below for both of us. And my own question, though, do you think Indra and Kane survived the blast at the bottom of the elevator? I hope so, even though I don't know where they would have hidden fast enough before that bomb went off. So there is that. And I do have another question coming up, but let's first go to predictions. Now, predictions for episode 316, which is the season finale. Based off the promo, though, it looks like Clark enters the City of Lights, and it looks like the surviving Arcadians are stuck at the top of the Polis Tower with Ali's army closing in on them. Now, I didn't read the synopsis. I didn't want to ruin it for myself just yet, but based off the promo, my question is, if Clark is meant to take the key to get into the City of Light, isn't that just giving Ali what she wanted all along? Since Ali wants the passcode, and the moment that Clark takes the key, that passcode is going to be available to Ali and every other chipped out person. So how is Clark taking the key going to benefit them without benefiting Ali? I mean, I don't get what the purpose of Clark taking the key is when she is the one, when she needs access to the flame, and yet the only person who can take the flame and the key is Antari, and yet they're trying to prevent the two in the same host because of Ali. Because the way I see it, this is the way I thought of it, the only way that Clark could get access to the flame is if she takes the key, and then she talks to Antari inside the City of Lights, and then she gives the flame to Antari so that she gets access to it, and then through the City of Lights, Antari can tell Clark what the commanders are telling her, since Antari is brain dead and can't do it outside the City of Lights. But if they do that route, Ali has access to all of it. She gets what she's wanted all along, access to the flame. which is what they've all been trying to prevent. So I don't get how that's supposed to happen. Plus, also, there's supposed to be a Clark and Lexa reunion in the City of Lights. Yeah, I don't know how that's supposed to happen, since Lexa is in the flame and Clark can't access the flame since she's not a Nightblood, unless she accesses it with risking killing herself too, though, but I doubt she would do that since she hasn't done that already yet. So many questions, so many things can happen, but that's it for my predictions, because for season finales, anything could really go. But let's move on to top 5 favorite moments from me. And there goes my timer. I was so close. Okay, but ship-oriented list. So I placed, as you can see before, this is what it was after 313. But I am placing episode 314 in slot number 13 because of Raven, Monty, and Harper and the dynamic between all three of them. Mostly Raven, Monty, and then Monty and Harper. And then for this episode, for the 315, I'm placing it at number 6 because of the Bellamy and Clark that was implied by Abby. That's why. Unfortunately, both of them don't make my top 5. But moving on to the non-ship focus list, I'm definitely placing episode 314 into number 12 because of Luna, who is just a great reminder on its own. And then for 315, I'm putting it into number 9 because of the extensive torture that Clark had to deal with. I mean, that's going to be hard to forget because the fact of the circumstances she was in. So, as non-focus, that's pretty big. Or I guess you could put infiltration of Polis or double cross type thing. But that's about it. So what do you guys think of the 2 episodes? What do you guys like about it? What do you think is going to happen in the finale? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it, as well as your own thoughts, theories, and predictions for what you think is going to come. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. Also, if you want, check out my Tumblr page. Links for those will be down below. I'm behind on posting those, but usually I reblog promos, sneak peeks, web clips, quotes, GIFs, synopses, all of that. So I plan to update it in the next few weeks after all this craziness in my life is settled down. But definitely be on the lookout for that, and follow me there if you want to keep updated on that. And that's about it. So guys, also this week the CW upfronts are happening actually on Thursday, May 19th. So I might actually do a video about that like I did last year. So be on the lookout for that. But until then, this is Mel. Thank you all again for tuning in. So sorry for the delay. So sorry for the quality of my voice. But I really wanted to record and post this for you guys. So until next few days, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week wherever you are. Until then, bye for now.